lovely peeps, happy 2026. Welcome back to the channel. I have a year in review to share with you, and 2025 was not the most productive or fabulous year that I have ever experienced. I still made 37 big things and then quite a few small projects, and this year I do have a lot of data to share with you, which I am quite pleased with. It took me a little while to sit down and do this all in Canva, but hopefully it's interesting and hopefully it gives you an idea of exactly sort of the spread of things that I have been making over the year, the successes and the pieces that I have either already donated or am thinking about getting rid of. Now, my laptop is dead, absolutely dead, and usually I do this video with my twirls and my computer in front of me, but I can't do that today, so it's going to be done from my bullet journal, which I do have an entire list of everything that I have made over 2025, and my phone, which hopefully I can get the graphics up and having a look at, but I won't have the twirls to look at, so it's going to be interesting. We shall see how this goes. So the very first thing I have here is the amount of videos that I put out last year. I put out 65 in total, which is more than one a week, but not as many as I usually do and not as many as I was hoping for. They break down like this, so I'm gonna shuffle over this way a little bit so we have some space to put all the things. There were 22 main channel videos, which for me mean they were specifically about some kind of sewing related topic. Patterns, fabrics, lookbooks, that kind of stuff. We had 3 sew-alongs, which doesn't sound like a lot and isn't a lot, and I was intending that video number to be more around the sort of 12 sew-alongs, so one a month, but yeah, that did not happen. However, fingers crossed, they were in-depth and fully instructional, so hopefully I'm very proud of the sew-alongs that I put out, even if there was only 3 of them. There were 10 waffles on the main channel and 14 extended or Patreon exclusive videos over on Patreon. The difference between the main channel waffle and the Patreon waffle is that there is more personal details in the Patreon waffle that the main channel viewer may not necessarily want to hear about or see. So there are sort of like extended director's cuts over there, which basically feature the cats and the dog doing really cute things. So if you are interested, Patreon is listed in the description down below for access to that kind of stuff. It's $2 a month and it helps support me and the channel and to keep me making videos like this one and others over the year. Then finally I had 16 tutorial videos go up on the channel. This is mini tutorials, also the pieces that I broke down from the piping video, which there were 13 different separate mini tutorials within that one piping video. There is the sort of like 2-hour marathon and then the specific techniques, hopefully broken down and labeled and cross-referenced in such a way that you don't have to watch through the whole 2 hours, even though it's chaptered, to get to the pieces that you want. If there's a specific kind of like, oh, I would like to put it in with a continuous loop with a clean finish, or I would like to make piping, or where do I put piping? Hopefully I've covered all of those topics for you. It's not as many as I would hope for, but it is still more than one video a month, even though they weren't actually distributed in such a way. I haven't included Vlogmas. There was a video every day in December for Vlogmas. I really enjoyed doing that. Mum and Dad enjoy doing that. Most of the OG subscribers to the channel enjoy that as well. I am going to be doing it differently this year though, because it is not for everyone, and I appreciate there's an awful lot of Vlogmas out there, and if that's all that's on a channel, it can be hard to find the other sort of more instructional or specific sewing related videos that you're after. So it will be happening this year, it just will be happening a bit different, but I didn't include that in this number of videos, so there was 24 more videos on top of that. So the very first thing that I sewed this year was my rose print Vogue 8577 dress, and technically a lot of this had been sewn previously and I just finished it off in January, and January is finish your work in progress challenge month. I have a lot of those for this year as well. We'll see how that goes, but I was really pleased with this dress. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it went out in the zero waste project video. I love a zero waste project, I love the idea of it, but the regular patterns which use every single scrap of fabric in the one garment are usually too boxy for my preferences. They look amazing, but they're just not for me. So this was my version and my take on a zero waste project, and I love how that dress has turned out. I did not get to wear it this summer for various reasons, but it is firmly staying in my wardrobe, and I would 100% class this as a success. Next is another dress that needed to be finished, and this one just needed hemming. It had been completely done other than that, but I hadn't leveled the hem until the 8th of January. So I class a project as finished when it's completely finished and can be worn out of the house, although I have worn dresses out of the house that have been unhemmed to retreats because I ran out of time, but technically I would have been happy to be seen in public in this dress. And that was finished on the 8th of January, and that is the Butterick 5951, which is a pattern that I absolutely love. I have 5 cut out waiting to be finished. Their skirts are all done and hanging and waiting to be leveled, but the bodices need doing, but they won't fit me at the moment, so that's why they're sort of still works in progress. I do love the dress and I have kept it, and it will be staying in the wardrobe. Next was the royal blue with gold dot quilting cotton dress that I made for my border print video, and I love how this one has turned out. All of the border print projects that I made, I am super happy with them. Once I was editing it, it was kind of interesting to realize that, oh, these are all non-directional border prints. It would be fun to have a play around with some directional border prints, and I have a few more ideas of different ways you can place a border print, but I do absolutely love this dress. I used the Butterick 6380 pattern for this one, the bodice of it, and then used a full circle skirt to make the most of the border print placement. It's absolutely gorgeous. It was supposed to be my birthday dinner dress, but unfortunately I ate a lot of yummy food that week and I could zip it up, but I wouldn't have been eating another big dinner in it comfortably, so I decided to wear something else that evening. So this one again has not been worn, but it is staying in the wardrobe because I do absolutely love it and I will wear it at some point. Next we have the first jersey project of the year. It is the Foliage Canopy McCalls 7319, and Foliage Canopy is a fabric that I have a lot of, and I am hoping to make some stuff out of this year, make mine possibly, but I decided to use the viscose jersey as my first project. I had 5 meters of it, so I got this dress, and I also got a t-shirt out of it, which you are seeing now. This is the Jennifer Lauren Gable t-shirt, and again it's a firm favorite for me. I really love the neckline. I love that there are no darts or seams or like neck bands to break up a large print like this, so I think this one worked really well, and I've worn both of these projects loads this year because stretchy comfy clothes have definitely been what I've been living in. Next up is something I made for mum. It's the Sewaholic Renfrew t-shirt with the cowl neck. I absolutely love that t-shirt, and I have only made the v-neck for myself. I need to make the cowl neck one. Mum bought this fabric from the last show that we went to, the Festival of Quilts, which was the previous year. She'd cut it out, but I offered to make it up for her, and it looks absolutely amazing. I don't have a photo of mum in it. I'm really sorry, you'll have to take my word for that, but mum still has it and mum still wears it. Next up is another work in progress that had been sitting around for about 6 months. It is the Sew Over It Sorrento jacket in the bright yellow cotton drill. I love how this looks, and I really want a bright yellow denim jacket. The fabric, because it was a drill, was very stiff. It had zero drape to it. I had made a skirt and I'd cut out the Sorrento jacket from the leftovers of the, because I had 3 meters, so I made a skirt, cut out the Sorrento from the leftover 3 meters. It had been sitting around for ages because I finished the skirt and decided that it just wasn't for me. The fabric was not right. It wasn't something that I liked. I wasn't overly enthused or inspired to sew up the jacket. I got it done, and I'm really glad that I did get it done because it is a fabulous piece, but the fabric texture is just not right for me personally. Somebody else said that they would very much like this jacket, and so I have sent it to them, and they very kindly gave me a little bit of money for it. I hope that they have enjoyed wearing it, so it's something that technically not a fail, but a fail for me, but a win for somebody else, and so that piece is no longer in my wardrobe. I never wore it, but somebody else is enjoying it, so thank you very much for taking it off my hands. Next up is the first bag that I made this year, and it's the Lavender and Twine Samaran bag. I made this from a chalk, I got this wrong when I said it before, chalk coloured cork fabric and the charcoal Mora leather, or it's not black, it's a dark grey Mora leather with solid black hardware from Emmeline bags. This is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's a really, really lovely bag. I always love lavender and twine designs. There's always a little something special about them, some kind of like weird trick where you're just like, how is this gonna, oh! So the actual process of making this bag was really fun. I ended up teaching it at the retreat last year, which was amazing, seeing all the different fabrics that people chose and put together for their bags. I have actually gifted this bag to somebody else. It was always intended to be a present for somebody, and I have sent it to them and they love it and they are using it, which is awesome. So that was the first bag that I made this year, but it's not one that I kept for myself. It was something that was always intended to be a gift, and I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. Next up is the little jacket that goes along with the blue and gold dot quilting cotton that I made earlier in the year. This is the New Look 6080 jacket and I absolutely love it. There's a full sew along on the channel for this. I think these two pieces together look amazing, and it was really fun working with this border print, which was a lovely gift, so thank you very, very, very much. I am really grateful that I got an extra sort of 3.5 yards, and I needed every single bit of that 3.5 yards to be able to fussy cut the border print in the way that I did for this jacket, but it's so effective, and I really wish I would have been able to eat a big meal in that outfit for my birthday, because it would have looked epic, but the food was going to be amazing, so I needed something. I ended up wearing a wrap dress, which was very kind of large meal forgiving. So yeah, that was the next thing that I made. I still have it and I am 100% going to keep this one. Next up was the first sew along of the year. This is the McCalls 7875 dressing gown pattern. As I say, there was a sew along for this dressing gown and I made it out of this beautiful Liberty Loddon print. I had two different cuts of this print and they were definitely different print runs because there were slight variations in the depth of colour. These were also seconds. I didn't buy them from Liberty's directly. I got them from a resale site, so it could have possibly been that they were seconds because the differences in the print run. I don't care. It's beautiful. It's a really nice lightweight dressing gown because I have a beautiful hot pink faux fur kind of dressing gown for the winter months, which is amazing and is currently being used as a house coat because it's really cold everywhere, but it's way too hot for the summer, so this is absolutely perfect. I love the twirliness of it and I really enjoyed putting the sew along together. So that was make number 10. Next up we have a snake print dress that is not anaconda anthesis or cobra corsage. This is a grayscale print that I got from Royal Indian Treasures on eBay probably 9-10 years ago. It's one that I only had 3 meters of and it was quite narrow, so I really didn't know what to do with it. I was always planning on making something like an Eve dress, but I didn't have enough fabric for that. Then Pound Fabrics were having a sale. They put the yellow viscose that happened to match perfectly with the snake print running through this grayscale pattern. It was £1 a meter, so I bought 10 meters of it and I have plans for the bits that I have left, which you can just see there. But it was, as I say, the perfect color. So I lined the sleeves of the magnolia, I did the waistband of the magnolia, and I also did a full lining, and I also made bias binding out of it as well. So every time you walk in this dress there's a little flash and pop of colour, which I love. I have worn the magnolia a few times this summer because it fits me really well. It's a nice adjustable dress because of those waist ties, which is awesome. So I'm very, very happy with this dress and I'm so pleased that I finally cut into a very precious to me fabric. So really pleased with that one. Next up is another one that was kind of an experiment and I still have it and I really want to like this one. It is a light blue chambray fabric that I've had for years and I bought loads of it ages ago for, I think I've made a brûlée out of it and a by hand London Flora dress out of it as well. This was an experiment to see if I liked the 9345 tie front shirt with long sleeves on it so that I could like roll the sleeves up and use it as more of a layering piece than necessarily a top by itself. And I do like it, but I haven't worn it yet. Again, for a variety of reasons. I haven't really done anything this year or gone anywhere, and also my weight has fluctuated so much that a lot of my T&T projects and dresses and patterns don't fit me comfortably at the moment. So whilst I don't think this was an abject fail, I'm also not sure it's exactly a win, and it did kind of put pause on other projects that I had planned of similar fabrics but slightly more precious to me fabrics, because it didn't get worn as much as I thought it was going to. Next, we have a bunch of projects that have been incredibly successful and I have worn a lot. I have been living in my comfy stretchy clothes this year. That's probably because they have been comfortable and stretchy, but also allowed other things to maybe slide a little more than they possibly should have, but never mind. These are things that I have been wanting to make for a while. I tried it a couple of years ago, maybe even last year, well 2024, but I got the colours wrong. I went for a muted palette because I just loved the prints, and whilst they were great, they weren't like in your face vibrant. So just after the retreat, I treated myself to a giant pound fabric order because they have beautiful vibrant French terries for $9.99 per meter, which is not cheap, but they're really good quality and I really like them, and they wear well because I've had some of it before and I've used it, and as I say, it washes and wears well. So I bought myself a bunch and I went through and I made a bunch of stuff which you will be seeing here. I christened this lookbook The 80s Cord and They Want Their Shell Suits Back. I mean, the one nice thing about these is that they are all cotton fabrics, no polyester in sight. They're all breathable and very comfortable to wear and not sweat making in the least, which is definitely something that I needed over the summer months because hot flushes in the weather that we had was interesting. The very first one is the Cozy Colors Salmon sweatshirt with balloon sleeves. This is a Hey June Sheridan sweater. I absolutely love this pattern and I will be making more. I have plans to make loads more. I have lots of other sweatshirt patterns that I really ought to try, but the Sheridan is one of my favourites for sure. This salmon sweatshirting fabric is the Cozy Colors from Guthrie and Ghani, which is £20 meter, and I treated myself to 3 meters of this because I knew I wanted something bright and vibrant. When it arrived, it was a little duskier than I was hoping it was going to be, but it's ended up working really well. It surprisingly is something that I have worn a lot. The bright jogging bottoms in my head were a great idea, and then I thought, is this as good an idea as I think it is? I decided perhaps not. I wouldn't wear them out in public, but I have, and I've really enjoyed it, and it's been really good for my mood. Dopamine dressing, putting on bright colours that I love, that suit me, and going out in public and having people go, oh wow, you're bright. They're probably thinking in their head, I would never wear something like that. What are you thinking? But for me, it's just like, I feel bright, happy and wonderful in these pieces. So yeah, the Cozy Colors salmon sweatshirting is the more expensive of all of the pieces, but definitely worth it. And they have some bright ruby red and they have some navy, and it works really well for the jogging bottoms. So I might be getting myself some bright ruby red for possibly tops and a dress, and then the navy for some jogging bottoms that aren't quite so in your face as the salmon pink ones. Jogging bottoms is the McCalls 7634. The Seafoam Ponte is from the Fabric Room, and I believe they still have that in stock as well, so I'll link that in the description down below. That's also the same pattern. There's a sew along on the channel for that. I have raised up the waistline on that pattern because I prefer how that looks, and I'm really glad that I did. Next up is the McCalls 8145. Again, there's a sew along on the channel for that one. I've made some significant changes to the pattern because the amount of ease that was built into it was ridiculous in my opinion, and I'm really pleased with the changes that I've made. So if you're interested in making that pattern, I would highly recommend you have a look at the sew along first. If not, at least have a look at the finished garment measurements and make some decisions from there, because I ended up doing a size 6 waist, which I definitely don't have. It was still a little baggy on me, but in a good way rather than a superly oversized way. Next we have Coral Ivy and Blue, and the blue is a little kitty French terry that the very lovely Catherine sent me her remnants of. This is the Schnitzchen Patterns Sue jumper, and I've cropped it and changed it to make it something that works for me, which has definition around the waist, because that's how I feel most comfortable when I get dressed in these kinds of things. So I have worn this, I love this, it's gorgeous. Then we have 3 Misusu stereo sweaters in a variety of different color combinations. I think I bought 6 different colors of the French terries from Pound Fabrics. I had 3 meters of the royal blue, which you'll be seeing in a minute, 2 meters of the ivory, 2 meters of the coral and then 1 meter of everything else. So the purple, the orange, which I didn't end up using but I have now, and Tiffany blue, which again I still have some of that because I had the seafoam Ponte. I love all these oh, and the yellow. I had 1 meter of the yellow. I wish I'd got more of that. I absolutely love these combinations together. Yes, they are totally 80s-tastic and over the top and in your face and loud, but you can't help but smile when you put these on. So I'm really pleased with all of these pieces. Those were all tried and true patterns. And then I haven't bought myself a new pattern for years. I missed out on the very last Big Four sale before the ownership changed and things changed over there. So I actually haven't bought myself any sewing pattern for I think over 2.5 years. I still look and I still make notes about my wish list of patterns that I would like, but haven't actually bought them. But I was on Grasser and I saw these two and I was just like, oh yes, I need those now. So I bought them, I printed them out on A4, stuck them together, and I hate doing that, but I was determined I wanted to make them, and I did. And I think that's really cool, the fact that the new patterns that I've bought I immediately used. So I have used some new to me patterns this year, and I think both of these are a great success. The first one was this dress, which was an experiment for a very much more precious fabric that I have currently cut out but I haven't made yet, and I absolutely love this dress. I was not expecting to. I am not a mini dress person, as you guys know, but this has changed things. I have been wearing this an awful lot. It's comfy, it's stretchy, it has shape in it. There are fisheye darts at the back, there is shaping at the waist, it's got balloon sleeves so it's easy to move in, it's got a nice kind of bell-shaped skirt. I really love this dress. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and like I say, I have another one cut out. It's behind you waiting to be sewn up. The overlocker is out, it will get done. Then I have plans for a couple more. It does look like a Star Trek uniform. Grasser, their one, looks chic and elegant. Mine looks like a Star Trek uniform. I don't mind that. And I have plans to make another one in red, which is going to look even more like a Star Trek uniform. I'm really happy with this dress, and it's super comfy, it's easy to make, and it's really striking as well, so I'm very pleased with this one. Then the other new pattern I got was this Grasser sweatshirt, which is 961. I saw this on the model on the Grasser website and was just like, oh wow, you look chic and I really want this. And then I made it in these colours, and it now looks like an 80s ski team for the Olympics. That's in my head, that's exactly what it looks like. Also, the bottom of the last point is where my waist is, and this is obviously there's no shaping at the waist whatsoever, and I was just like, oh, I probably can crop it, not without like interfering with the pattern or really kind of like cinching in the waistline with elastic, which I have done for the Misusu stereo sweaters, as you saw. But I just decided to like make the first one as is, and I had just enough fabric scraps left of all these colors to do so. I really like it. I have worn it a lot. I probably, if I make this again, which I'm not ruling out, will make it a little bit longer so that it can be a properly oversized sweatshirt. I think the Grasser pattern is made for a slightly shorter person than I am. I'm 5'8", so I think it's meant to be a little longer on the body than it actually has come out on me. And again, I have a long torso, so I think that's contributed to it as well. So I think I actually might lengthen this one so it's a little bit more oversized, but I can see myself making this again. It was really well written, the patterns are really well designed. Putting those points together was tricky, but not in a horrific like, oh gosh, I never want to do that again kind of a way. It was fun. So yeah, I really liked my two new patterns and the pieces of clothing that I got from them. They have both been worn lots over the last year. The only order I placed with Minerva this year was for some orange felt for bag making and for this chunky cotton knit that I absolutely love and kind of want in every colour, but every bright colour, and there aren't that many bright colours, which works out quite well. I made the same shrug that I always do, the 7289. I have plans for a video of that particular pattern, even though it's out of stock, but kind of like a highlight of the importance of fabric types when choosing patterns, because I've made it in a bunch of different fabrics now. You'll see two of them in this video. I think the results are striking in that it's a pattern that I love and I wear frequently, and the different fabrics make it appropriate for different uses, which is not really a revelation to anybody, but I thought it could be an interesting video to have a look and see at like the actual difference that different weights and structures and textures of fabric can make to patterns, and how they can look wildly different even though they're exactly the same thing. So yeah, there's that video coming soon. I've got one more to make out of silk because there's one coming up that was a trial to see whether I would actually like this pattern in a lighter weight fabric, and turns out I do. So chronologically, the next thing is the skirt. This was for the So Fruity month, although I finished this. Oh, I did finish this in June. I thought I'd finished this in July, but no, I did finish this in June. I just didn't photograph it in time to go up for the So Fruity challenge. Or did I? I don't think I did, no. This is the Kittenish Behaviour 5 panel circle skirt, which there is a full sew along on the channel. This is really good for if you want to do a circle skirt out of a print that's obviously directional. This one has lemons and bananas all over it. It is a polyester fabric that I got from Spotlight Fabrics. The very lovely Claire smuggled it over for me years ago. I am really glad that I bought it because the print is amazing, but I hate wearing polyester, so I fully lined this thing and I'm really glad that I did. I had enough left over to make the 7289, which you can see here with it. I really like how this kind of like light cover up looks. I am a lizard of a person, and if I'm not having a hot flush I'm usually cold and I usually want my arms covered, so having a lightweight cover up like this is something that I do a lot. I've made a lot of that pattern, as you guys know. I now feel confident that I actually would enjoy having one in silk for, you know, silk purposes, because the probability of me wearing a beautiful silk shirt are quite minimal, but the probability of me wearing something like this over a probably fairly dressy dress, but not too dressy dress, is quite likely, and probably higher than wearing a silk shirt, which is the option that I have for the lengths of fabric that I've bought in silk, because silk is expensive, and yeah, I tend to buy 2 meters of it, and I don't know why, because I don't wear anything that takes 2 meters. We know this, but this will work, so that's good. So both of those banana and lemon print things were made in time for the So Fruity challenge. The other things that I cut out for that challenge were all finished in July, 1st of July, but July. The first one is the Telio lemon print viscose that I had, and I did another tried and true project. It was the Butterick 6554. I have that number right. I love how this dress has turned out. I fully lined it because the fabric needed it. It was sheer, and because I fully lined it, I thought that I could get away without putting any visible top stitching on it, because usually the entire edge of the dress is finished off with bias binding. I've bagged it out and I kind of wish I'd done bias binding. I made bias binding. I don't know that I want to change it enough that I would go and unpick it and redo it with the bias binding, but I should have kind of sandwiched the fabrics together and treated them as one rather than bagged it out, because the bias binding just gave a really nice structure to the neckline and the line of the skirt. It would have had visible top stitching, but I think that helps. I have put in twill tape to stabilize the neckline of the wrap dress, which is something that I do quite frequently. In fact, now always when I'm making wrap dresses, because I find that it really helps. But the bias binding would have been a better finish for this dress, but I'm not going to stop that from me wearing it, and I have, and it's a wrap dress, so it's very forgiving for the fluctuating of the weight thing. So yeah, I have worn this one. I love this one. It's absolutely gorgeous, and you guys really liked seeing all of the photos that Dad and I took in his award-winning front garden. Really like that dress. It's staying. Next is another lemon print. This time it's a linen viscose that I got from Sew Me Sunshine. This was the second sew along of the year, and it's the Vogue 9182, so I will link to everything that I can possibly link to in the description down below. I love how this one turned out. It fits me really nicely. I just love the big swooshy swishy skirt. I had 5 meters of this fabric, so I had enough to cut out a little tie front shirt as well. That's still sitting in my to be finished pile and will be finished this year. I will get it done. I am determined to get this all done, but it didn't get done in time for So Fruity 2025, but it will be done in time for So Fruity 2026. That's the plan. Then I experimented with a pattern that I absolutely love, and I tried to make myself a clutch bag out of the Emmeline Bags NCW Necessary Clutch Wallet pattern. I love how this turned out. I have a few tweaks to make to it. The NCW, I mean, to be fair, if you've made a bunch of NCWs, and a lot of you found my channel because of the NCW, you will be able to work out how to make this longer, bigger NCW clutch bag. But I love it, and I've had this fabric in my stash for ages. I have some more of it left, so I will be able to make some more things from it. Probably not a huge bag, but a kind of more shouldery style bag with that as an accent, which I'm really pleased about. But it's a gold green faux leather that I got years and years and years ago from Textile Express. They have some fabulous faux leathers on there. Not all are created equal, not are all easy to sew. Ask me how I know, but this one was really good. did. Unfortunately, they don't have it anymore. Like I said, I got it years ago, but I'm really pleased with how this bag turned out, although it's not perfect yet. Then I had my first collaboration with Babylon Leather, and I got to make this caramel, I think it's, yeah, caramel colored leather bag, and I absolutely love this thing. I have been using it. I found a small NCW in my sewing room when I had to tidy out of that. I've moved over to that because I usually use a regular size one, and that fits in this bag perfectly, and it was a really fun project. It was so lovely to work with a company that do such amazing products, and so many of you have taken them up on their amazing discounts that they've been offering over the year. I don't get to see who's bought what, but I get to see which kits have been bought. Some of the picks that you guys have chosen, I just like, oh yeah, no, I want that one. I have a very long wish list. The orange Lindy bag, my colour of the year is orange if you haven't watched, and you won't have watched the waffle yet, but there you go, a little sneak peek for the waffle. Yeah, the orange Lindy bag, that is 100% going to be the next one that I request if they want to work with me again. Fingers crossed they will. And it was a really fun thing to do as well. I've never hand stitched a bag like this before. They've done all the hard work for you, so all the pieces come edge coated and interfaced with the reinforcement where they need it, and all of the more difficult or equipment necessary hardware installed for you. You just get to sew it all together. The videos are interesting. They're not the longest things ever, and there was a lot of rewinding and like, but once it kind of clicked, it was a really fun process to do, and I very much enjoyed sitting there and making the bag. And like I said, my wish list is huge, and I have worked with them multiple times last year, and I'm hoping to work with them again this year because I just absolutely love them. I have a discount code that's permanent. It's Sean10, and it is a stackable 10% off your order, and they do loads of discounts year round for different events, so it's definitely worth having a look and seeing which kit you like, and kind of keeping an eye on when they do their discounts, because you can get some very good deals. But yeah, Sean10 for 10% off your order, and that's stackable. Again, this is not sponsored, it's just a sponsor that I worked with last year and I'm hoping to work with again this year because I love them and I highly recommend them for you guys. Next is a bit of a fail, and it's probably my biggest fail of the year, and it's the Peach Daydream dress, and it was McCalls 7929. This is a pattern that the Patreon peeps voted for, and it's a top pattern that I wanted to turn into a dress. I have made a finished dress that fits and I can get into now, which is quite nice, but I think I tried to make this dress too many things at once because I put shirring panels in it because I wanted it to be a structured but comfy day dress that I would be happy to wear on a hot summer's day, and it's just too big. It's too loose for my preference. I like tight-fitting bodices on my clothes. That's just my preference. I'm really pleased with the level of finish I've got on this dress, and I'm really pleased with like the overall appearance of it, but I don't think it looks as good as it could. So I have loads of this fabric. I got it in the Lady McElroy specifically half price sale, and they were doing half price off of their wholesale as long as you ordered 10 meters. So I ordered 10 meters because I loved the print, and I have it in the dark colorway as well. I have 5 meters of that, and now I have I had 10 meters of the peach, and I want to combine the two, and I want to make other, it's a whole thing. We know I love fabric, so I felt happy experimenting with this pattern and this print to try and achieve a dress that I really loved, and I achieved a dress that is okay but not great. Now, I filmed the entire process of this. I filmed like try-ons, I filmed trial and error, I made muslins, and my dog ate my homework. My computer chewed up the files, and at the time I only had a really small 60GB memory card in my camera. To continue filming all of these things, I had to download the footage from my camera onto my laptop and delete it from the memory card so that I had space to film the next batch of clips and projects and stuff like that. And yeah, my computer ate my homework. It just all went bright red, and all the files were corrupted, and there was no recovering them, and they weren't, as I say, on the memory card anymore. So I've upgraded. I have a much bigger memory card. I've got a 250GB memory card in my camera now, which has been a godsend over the Vlogmas period. So I tried to edit what I had, and it just didn't make sense. You know, all the interesting clips of things going wrong and me pinching things out and trying to move things around and moving seam lines and stuff like that was all gone. I had the cutting out process and then nearly the finished article. So I've finished the dress, it's hanging up, and it will be reattempted this year. I have a feeling that I will need to completely redo the bodice because there's so many things I want to tweak about it. So I intend to do a video about the, like, I made the thing. It did not go according to plan. Is how we're going to make it better. So I will reattempt that dress, but yeah, that was not a good one, and that was an August make. I then went on to make this dress, which is the purple harebells, technically a McCalls top that I've elongated into a dress. And Victorian nightgown, anyone? It's just not me, and I can't put my finger on exactly why, because like all of the elements of it I like, but no. It's not the one. So I now have it hanging up, and I had 6 meters of this fabric, so I have enough to make something else, because I do love the print, because somebody was like, well, the print's very kind of like not you, and but I really like the print, so I just think I've made the wrong combination. But it was an inexpensive print that I got from Pound Fabrics, so I was willing to experiment with it because I had 6 meters of it, and also because not, you know, $4.50 a meter, I think it was. I should have made the boat neck non-structured sleeve version of that top. I'm trying to decide now whether I shorten this one into a mini dress or if I take it apart, because the back panel's got no shaping or darts in it whatsoever. It's all cinched in with the waist ties. So I'm just trying to decide, do I use the cut out from that fabric, or I know there's a very lovely one of you guys who wouldn't mind this dress, so do I just send it to you so that you can have it? And you very kindly offered to send me 3 meters of the same fabric because you bought the last 10 of it. So I have options with that dress, but this particular combination is not a win, and yeah, that's definitely an epic fail for the year. But never mind. It's been a pattern that I've had traced out and wanted to try for years, so I'm glad that I have. That was the 22nd of August, and in fact I think it was previous to that, but it was, you know, a couple of like giant failures in a row, and I didn't sew for the entirety of September, and I don't really know why. But the next thing that I made was the Jungle Tropics Viscose Chalet Magnolia dress with the elongated sleeves that was supposed to be for sleeve timber. As I say, this got finished in October, and it's actually technically not finished. It's still hanging up over there, and it needs hemming because it is a full, is it a full circle skirt? No, it's a half a circle skirt with lining. They have dropped on the bias and they've not been finished yet. So that dress is still hanging up, waiting to be fully finished. But I included it on this list, even though the fish dress that you saw at the beginning of this giant waffle was not included because it hadn't been hemmed until the beginning of this year. I included it because the list of things I had made was very small. I really like this dress. There is no clip of me wearing it because, as I say, not finished. I was doing this for sleeve timber, and there was another one that's still cut out and waiting to be sewn up for sleeve timber. I was well prepared for this year. I like how the sleeves have come out, but I think I can go a few steps further. I think they can be more over the top, so I have some fabrics back here that I think I'm going to attempt that with, like the same process but just more exaggerated. So I have all the footage of these sleeves being made, and that will get included, so it would be like a, if you don't want over exaggeration, this is where you go. If you want this is how you do it. That video is still coming. I have lots of video ideas. They're all still coming, I promise. They're floating around in there somewhere. Then I finished the emerald green Cobra Corsage piped dress. That thing has been floating around the sewing room in various forms of readiness or unreadiness for about 2 years. I finished this on the 4th of November. The full sew along didn't come out until way into December. It was supposed to have been out like January 2024. Yeah, that's my 3rd sew along for the year. I'm really proud of the sew along. It's 2 hours long. There's a lot of info in there, and as I say, I've broken it down into mini tutorials, so if you want a particular part, hopefully, like I say, well labeled enough that you'll be able to find exactly what you want. I really love this dress. I think it's absolutely epic. I am genuinely surprised that I was able to get into this. It is a little tighter than I would like, and it is sitting a little higher than I would like because of reasons, but yeah, I am really pleased that this dress is 1, finished, and 2, looks the way that it does. I think it's epic. It's over the top and in your face and beautiful and really fun. I haven't worn it out in public yet. but I will, because awesome. But it's also one of those projects where you finish it and you're just like, I never want to see this again, because oh my gosh, that took me 2 years. And again, all my own fault. The only person that made it take 2 years is me, but it took 2 years. When the very lovely people from Lady McCalls Sherwood Fabrics got in touch with me and said, could we send you some of our new prints that we've just released, and could you please make something up fairly quick with them, because we'd love to show people in time for Christmas. I said yes, please send me fabric, because of course I did. This is me we're talking about. They sent me the Marlene Viscose Chalet and also the Cottage Core Daydream Cotton Lawn, which is up there ready to be made up this year, because it's definitely a spring dress waiting to happen. The Marlene though, I made a mini dress. This is the second mini dress of the year and I really love it. And again, I made some alterations so that it would fit, but I was amazed that it fit me. I have not worn this out in public because I haven't really gone anywhere to wear it, but mini dress and cleavage-tastic at the same time. So I do have enough fabric left over to make a tie, to put in the eyelets to make a tie for this dress, which I think is something that I want to do to make it a little bit more appropriate, because it is very tit-tastic. That's not something I usually worry about, but this time I'm a little bit worried about it. So yes, I have made this dress. There are no clips of me twirling in it because, as I say, I think I want to tweak it, but I'm so pleased with how it came out. I think it's absolutely beautiful and the fabric is gorgeous. And as a few of you pointed out, oh my gosh, it's not leafy or floral. There's a departure for you. And yes, it is. And I really, really love it. And also it's going to work really well with my theme for this year of orange, which is awesome. I really love that dress. And thank you again to Lady McCalls for sending me that fabric. And there will be some proper photos of that when I'm feeling a little bit more confident in myself. So yes, photos coming soon. And then the last 3 things that I made this year are all bags, one of which was for me and the other 2 were presents. The first one was the velvet book tote style bag that I made for Dad to his specifications. It was from an elephant hot air balloon velvet that I got from my local store, which they don't have any more of, and it didn't have any details on the selvage, so I can't tell you the name of the designer. It's absolutely brilliant and Dad really loves it. I did it with a faux dark green leather so that the bottom didn't get damaged, because you know, velvet on the bottom of a bag doesn't sound like the best of ideas. He wanted a shoulder strap and a large handle, so he got all of those and he really loved it, and that was his birthday present. Then I did the burgundy Mora leather with a rose print tapestry that I got from Pound Fabrics, and I made a Samaran bag for Mum for Christmas. It was supposed to be her birthday present, but the Sojo was not in evidence much this year, so the fact that I managed to get 2 bags done for 2 presents in December, I was very pleased with myself, which sounds ridiculous, but I was very pleased with myself. And I got it done in time to be wrapped up and given to Mum for Christmas Day, and she's using it now and she loves it, which is awesome. And then the very final thing that I made is the Babylon leather green pollen #1 bag, and that was so much fun to sew. It took me 3 or 4 days of kind of like on and off in the betwixtmas of it all, or the cheesemas, which was another name for the week between Christmas and New Year. I love both of those names. Yeah, that was really fun to kind of come and sit down here and listen to music and do some hand sewing with no pressure. I really enjoyed making that bag, and that was the last thing that I made in 2025. So it was really nice to finish the year off on a positive win of something that fit me and was as gorgeous as it was. Like I say, I have some statistics for you, which I will go through really quickly, because despite having only made like properly 37 things this year, I have waffled a lot. Garment types. There's a section there missing. What was that? So 13 dresses, 7 sweatshirts, 6 bags, 2 shrugs, 2 pairs of joggers, 2 jackets. Did I make 2 jackets? That doesn't feel right. Oh yes, no, 2 jackets, I did. 2 jackets, 2 t-shirts, 1 skirt, 1 dressing gown, and what was the other thing? Oh! 1 shirt! That was the other thing. So that's the totals of all the garment types that I've made. 13 of those were knits and 24 of those projects were woven. So pattern companies, we had 2 Babylon leather, 3 Butterick, 2 Deer and Doe, 2 Grasser patterns, 1 by Hey June, 1 by Jennifer Lawrence, technically 4 Kittenish Behaviour pieces, 2 Lavender and Twines, 10 McCalls, 3 by Misusu, 1 New Look, 1 Schnittchen Patterns, 1 Sew Over It, 1 Sewaholic, and 4 Vogue. Now I have classed, so the Misusu, it wasn't 3 individual Misusu patterns, it was the same stereo sweater 3 times, but I have registered the data that way. Obviously McCalls and Vogue are my favourite, followed up by self-drafted, which is kind of nice. I think I'm classing one of those self-drafted ones as my tweaks on the NCW though. Then we have my small projects, 2 scarves. I did 4 key fobs. They are usually made to go with the bags that I make. So 1 for each of the Samarans, 1 for the NCW, and then 1 for Dad's book tote. We had 9 different types of buy-ins binding, so 9 different fabrics, but there was 83 meters in total and 34 scrunchies from all of the different fabrics that I've used this year. It's 34 because I tend to make at least 1 but usually 2 scrunchies out of each fabric that I have chosen. Of all the projects that I made, 32 were for me, 3 were purposefully made gifts for other people, and 2 of the projects that I've made were donated because they just weren't right for me. I'm not surprised by this data whatsoever. I have taken on a commission for this year, the first time in a long time that I've taken on any commissions, so there's that happening. If the lady doesn't mind me sharing the details of it, I will at least show you the finished garment, if not the finished outfit on her, but she may wish to just not be on like the internet, so it could just end up being the actual garment on the mannequin, as it were. I had some months that were more prolific than others for sewing. January I made 2 projects, February I made 2 projects, March I made 3 projects, April I made 2 projects, May I made 11 projects. That sounds fabulous, but the majority of those were knit projects, and knit projects are always really quick. June I made 4 projects, July I made 3 projects, August I made 4 projects, September I made 0 projects, October 1, November 2, and December 3. This year the Sojo, I don't know where it went, but it's just definitely not been in evidence here. Yeah, never mind. It is what it is. It's totally fine. Some fabric statistics. So I bought a lot of fabric this year. I bought way more fabric than I should have. I definitely went over the budget that I set myself. The budget was arbitrary, not a set in stone, I have to stick to this kind of a thing. I definitely allowed myself to splurge when I saw absolutely beautiful prints that I really wanted. I'm not going to be doing that this year. I'm going to be much better behaved theoretically. But these are the fabric shops that I did choose to spend money at this year. I shopped at the Maker Society once, Stitch Fabrics once, which surprises me, Guthrie and Ghani once, Sew Hot once. That was also sewing retreat related, so sort of work adjacent. All of these are work adjacent really, but yeah. Minerva once, Fabric Godmother once, Crafty So and So once, Fabric Room once, which really surprises me. But I did buy a very large chunk of lining fabrics from them. I bought like 20 meters of one and 10 of another, so theoretically that sort of covered me for the entire year. First for Fabrics once, Lamazi twice, Sew Me Sunshine twice, Rainbow Fabrics twice, Pound Fabrics 3 times, and no one will be surprised by this, but Sherwood Fabrics 5 whole orders over the year. I'm very pleased with everything that I bought over the year, and I do have 2 fabric haul videos that go through all the things that I've bought. In total, I bought 243 meters of fabric. I think I ended up buying about 40 meters of lining over the year, but that's not included in the 243 meters that I've just mentioned. One of my goals for the year was to at least sew as much fabric as I bought. I failed at that quite considerably. I sewed up 86 meters. I did make a lot less projects than I usually do, and a lot of them were smaller projects, but yeah, I definitely failed at that sort of challenge that I had for myself. Again, this is going to surprise absolutely nobody, but the majority of things that I sewed in 2025 were tried and true projects because they are comfort projects. They were things that I knew were going to work for me and work for my wardrobe, and things that I would be willing to use special fabric on. There were 7 new projects and 31 tried and true. And finally, the fabric types that I've used. So I made 1 velvet project, 1 drill project, 1 chambray project, 1 cotton knit project, 2 real leather bags, which I still can't believe that I did those, they're gorgeous, 2 viscose jerseys, 2 polyester project, 2 viscose linen, 3 faux leather projects, 3 ponte projects, 5 cotton projects, 6 viscose projects, which again surprised me, and then 8 French terry projects, which given the orgy of making I had in May probably shouldn't have come as so much of a surprise. I'm surprised there wasn't more viscose makes in there, but very happy with all of those. I think there's a few surprises in the statistics there, but not really, because it was definitely a second year of comfort sewing, probably less successful than 2024's comfort sewing. Not that a metric of success should be the number of items that I have made, but given that this is my full-time job and that I'm meant to be making videos out of the things that I make, I probably should have had a slightly more prolific year. But there are far fewer fails this year, but that's probably also because I tried far fewer things. So all in all, 2025 kind of sucked for a number of reasons. But I made some beautiful things, and I had some fabulous sponsors, and I made some really good videos, if I do say so myself. And you'll have to let me know in the comments down below which of my makes was your favourite. Do you agree with some of the ones I was a little bit harsher about? And what sort of things would you like to see me attempt to make this year? I have plans, but I have plans about my plans, so you'll be seeing more of the details of what I'm hoping to achieve this year coming up. Ooh, alterations. I had an entire video of all the alterations that I wanted to do this year, and I achieved one whole alteration, which was unpicking and then hand sewing yeah. I'm glad I did that one because I now wear that dress way more often, but I have a bunch of alterations waiting for me to do as well. So yes, 2025 did not go according to plan, but it is what it is. I am feeling a lot more positive about 2026 in regards to sewing, to being much more disciplined about the amount of fabric that comes in, and the new kinds of projects that I would like to attempt and show you guys, and seeing how the channel develops over the year, hopefully just making interesting things that you guys would like to see. So that was my 2025. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, you might want to check out this one here.